You're listening to The Bloodshed Baddies. I think the microphone was way down at the bottom of my desk. Hi, I'm Lex.
And I'm Sam.
And we are the Bloodshed Baddies.
Hello, baddies.
Hi.
What up, Lex?
What up, Sam?
Not much. I decided for the listeners to get to know us a little better, I'm going to ask you 5 random questions.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. Do you eat your corn on the cob straight across or in a circular motion?
Straight across and then circle. It's like a typewriter. Like da-da-da-da-da, turn, da-da-da-da-da, turn, da-da-da-da-da, turn.
That is how I also eat it, like a typewriter. Perfect comparison. But I do know people who just turn.
No, that's weird. I don't
Not
believe
if you
that.
do it, baddies. I have witnessed it at my kitchen table.
Does that mean it's Brandon?
I think cousin Vinny eats it that way.
Oh.
And Brandon, because of his teeth, has to take a knife.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
My grandpa, man. All right. Question 2. Do you prefer toilet paper to go over or like under when you're at somebody's house?
I literally have no preference on this, and I don't understand how people are so adamant about this. It literally makes no difference in my life whether the toilet paper is over or under.
You, Lex, have no preference. You're OCD booty.
Yep, that's just not something I have OCD about. I literally don't notice. Like, if you ask me right now, is your toilet paper over or under? I couldn't guess. I mean, I could. It'd be a 50% chance.
You don't even put it the same way?
No, I just put it on whatever way's easiest. I just take the roll off, put a new roll on. I don't check.
How did you ever have roommates? How do you ever have a significant other? I am an over toilet paper person all the way. Don't change the roll at my house.
Okay, I won't. I'll call you in. Sam, I finished your last roll. Are you over or under? I can't remember.
All right, number 3. Do you do your hair or makeup first when you get ready?
I have to think about that.
Really?
My makeup. I do my makeup first. Yeah, because, well, if I have to blow dry my hair, I blow dry it first. But I heat up my straightener while I'm doing my makeup, and then my straightener is all ready for me to go.
I do my hair, then my makeup.
Ah.
Look at us, different ladies. Number 4, do you shower in silence or do you listen to something when you shower? And what do you listen to?
I usually listen to music unless I'm like in the middle of a good podcast, then I'll put the podcast on.
That's me. I listen to music most of the time, but if I have a good audiobook or a good podcast, I'm listening to this.
But sometimes if I've had a really stressful day, I sit there in dead silence.
No way. I could never.
I have a very loud job though.
That's very true.
So sometimes I need quiet. But I will say like that happens maybe once a quarter.
Once a quarter. You're like a business person.
Yeah.
All right, last question. When you clean your house, which we all know you hate the baddies, what's the first thing you clean and then the last thing you clean?
The kitchen is the first thing I clean. I feel like when the kitchen is dirty, it bothers me the most.
Yes.
I like to have all my dishes done, clean off the countertops. And then my house, I go in like the way that my house goes. So The kitchen is in the far right corner. So then the next room is the living room, and then the foyer. And then I go to my bedroom, then the guest room next door, then turn around the curve to the bathroom, and then do the cat's room last.
Nice. I usually clean actually like kind of opposite of you, really. Like the spare bedroom side first. I clean all that. And then like the very last chore I like to do is to vacuum. but just because it feels clean. So like I'll clean the room vacuum. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then like a chore I do first is usually like dust. I like to dust everything first.
Mm.
Yeah, and those are my weird questions.
Well, thanks. Thanks. Are you ready to get into this case today?
I am. I'm ready to sit back and relax.
Okay. Well, first off, the way I found this case is actually kind of funny. I was getting my nails done, and in the nail salon, they're like almost always playing like some kind of true crime show.
Ooh.
And sometimes the sound is on, sometimes it's not. So this time the sound wasn't on, and I was like watching bits and pieces. And I was like, I really need to look this up. So I looked it up because I didn't really know what was happening since the sound wasn't on, and there was no captions on, so I couldn't read it. But there's just some parts that I was like, this seems intriguing. And I will say, spoiler alert, this is an I survived story.
Good.
So I did figure that I was wrong last week. This comes out the week of Christmas. So that'll be nice to have a not actual murder on the week of Christmas.
I agree.
And then also, I was really excited because when I looked it up, I was originally just going to find the TV show and watch it. But she actually wrote a book about her story. So I read the book. It's very short. It's only like 75 pages. I highly recommend it because it's all written in her own words. So we are going to get into the story of Brenda Kaye Robinson. And she goes mostly by Kaye. So I'm just going to call her Kaye in this story.
Yay.
Kaye was born and raised in a rural part of Delaware. She was raised by her mother and had 2 sisters. And she eventually gets married. However, it didn't end up working out. But they did have a son. So she is now a single mother to a son named Nathan. She worked as an insurance agent and was dating a man named Andrew. Many would describe her as a strong, independent woman. And Kaye would often say that she lived a normal life and she really enjoyed her normal life.
I love that. I feel like I would vibe with Kaye very much.
Yes. In 1995, Kaye was finishing up washing the dishes. It was around 11 p.m. and she was ready for bed. Her 11-year-old son, Nathan, had fallen asleep watching a movie in her room. So she's tired. She wants to let him sleep and she doesn't feel like getting him up and moving him. So she decides to go sleep in Nathan's room for the night.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Kaye was awoken by a loud knocking on the door. She jolted awake and looked at the clock. It was 12:45 a.m. She just kind of lays there, but the knocking continues. So she rolls out of bed to see who was there. She looks up through her door window and she said she sees a grungy looking man. So through the door, she yells, "Who is it?" And the man claimed that his car had broken down and he needed to make a phone call. So through the door, she's like, "Okay, what is your friend's name and their number? And I'll call them on the phone." And then she's like, "Also, what's your name? Because I need to be able to tell them who's calling." He's like, "My name's Jack Wilson. Here's the number you have to call." So she calls the number. Somebody like groggily answers because, again, it's 12:45 a.m. And she tells him, "Hey, your friend Jack Wilson's here. His car broke down. He wanted me to call you." And the man that answered had no idea who Jack was.
Okay. Thoughts on this so far. 1, she's already baddie because when someone knocks on my door, I literally hide behind the couch and don't answer it. Like, that is impressive. And it's 12:45 at night. Scary. And also, she's smart enough to be like, I'm not going to let you in or anything. Through the door, you tell me who to call and I'll call for you. So, like, she's super cool. And then how terrifying when she calls and he's like, I have no idea who that person is in my life. My stomach would literally fall through my body.
She comes back to the door and tells Jack, and Jack gets really angry and is like, "Well, you must have dialed the wrong number." And she's like, "Well, actually, I am really freaking tired and you're at my house at 12:45 a.m. So maybe I did dial the wrong number." So she asks him for the number again, walks back to her phone. She tries again and the same man picked up. She tells the man on the phone, she says, "There's a man at my door and I'm scared."
Good for her.
The man hangs up on her.
Okay, that was just me shocked in silence. Are you kidding me?
Yep. He hung up on her.
I would be like, what's your address? Let me call the police. What can I do for you?
Yep. He hung up.
I hope he had a terrible day that next morning.
So she walks back up to the door and tells Jack, no, it was the same person. He says he doesn't know you. And Jack gets angry and walks away.
Okay,
Kaye then decides to call the police.
good.
She explained the incident and asked if they could send a car out just to check on everything. The dispatcher assured her that someone would be by soon, and Kaye drifted back off to sleep. All of a sudden, Kaye awoke again to a noise in the kitchen. So her fiance, Andrew, had a key to the house and would sometimes get there like pretty early in the morning. She said this was like hunting season as well. So she was like, oh God, he got here so early. So on the way to the kitchen to see him, she stops to make sure she looks like somewhat presentable in the hall mirror. And from the mirror, she could see that in the kitchen was the man that was at her door earlier.
Just in her kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally terrifying me. Cause like we all hear noises throughout the night, you know what I mean? Especially if that's like, oh, it's just my fiance. It's hunting season. Like, oh, I'm gonna look all nice. And then you look in and it's the man yelling at you through the door earlier.
Yeah. Not only that, he's holding a large butcher knife. He immediately attacks her.
Immediately.
So while he's like got her, he asks who else was in the house.
Oh gosh.
So she's super not sure what to do because she's like, which is telling him that my son's here going to put my son in more danger, or is not telling him and then he happens upon my son going to put my son in more danger.
Yeah.
So she ends up telling him that her son was home. He then insists that they need to go check on him.
Oh.
So they go to Kaye's room and they check on him, and he's asleep in his bed. Well, asleep in her bed.
Yeah.
The man told her that he wasn't going to hurt Nathan, but would have to kill him if he woke up. The man then asked her again, is he really asleep? She assured the man that he was. However, Nathan was in fact awake, lying there pretending to be asleep because he had no idea what to do.
He's 11.
Yeah.
What a smart 11-year-old.
Yep.
I probably would be like, mommy, and like literally start crying.
Yeah.
So smart on her, smart on him. Like, this is why you said, spoiler alert, this is a survival story. This is insane.
Yeah. It's a baddie raising a baddie, basically.
Yes. Yes.
So they go back out to the living room and the man forces her to sit on the couch. He asked her if she had any drugs or money. So she tells him, I have $7 and some prescription pain meds from a surgery. So he goes and he takes the $7 and then just begins asking her questions. He's asking her questions like, what time do you go to work? And when does your son get up for school? As he smoked one of her cigarettes.
Why is that so chilling that he's just like casually having this conversation, smoking her cigarette in her house?
Yep.
Ew.
This is highly disturbing.
Yes.
Just so you all know, like it gets a lot worse.
Oh gosh.
Kaye begged and pleaded, offering anything in the house as long as he didn't harm her or her son. So then the man begins to look for more money. And this is just like the weirdest thing to me.
Oh.
So he goes into her room and he finds some money and he asks her about it. He's like, hey, I thought you said you only had $7. What's this money? And she told him her son had earned it raking leaves. And he told her he couldn't take it because it wasn't right.
That is like, you want a conscience or not, buddy? Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah. A minute ago, you're saying that if my son wakes up, you're going to kill him.
Yes.
And then you're saying, well, I can't take this money because your 11-year-old son earned it raking leaves and it wouldn't be right.
I can't imagine being in Kay's situation right now because this is like, I would want to puke at every single part.
Yes. He then asked her for a clock. She actually didn't have a clock in the house. She mentioned in the book, like her VCR had a clock on it. The coffee pot had a clock on it. She like didn't own an actual physical clock, which I don't either. I mean, I know this was back in 95, so it's a little stranger, but like not totally out of the ordinary.
No.
So she offered him her watch. She's like, well, I got a watch. It's in the living room. So he goes out to the living room, and as he's getting her watch, he goes over to the fridge and pours himself something to drink.
Just like making himself comfy at home.
Yeah. And then he stated, oh, fingerprints, and wiped the glass off with his shirt. But then he wipes the glass off with his shirt and then grabs the glass with his other bare hand and sticks it back on the counter.
Only one hand has fingerprints? Like, what? What are you doing?
Kay's kind of like, they were in the bedroom. He goes to get the watch. So she's kind of standing in that like hallway like area. And then he begins to force Kaye into her son's room. Because remember, she was sleeping in her son's room.
No.
So her son is not in there. Her son's in her room. And she like gripped the door frame and fought back.
Good.
And like he couldn't get her into the room. So he started to threaten her and said he was not alone. And there was someone meaner than him waiting outside. He started to pry her fingers off the door frame, but she just kept grabbing on. So he starts waving the butcher knife in front of her face. And Kaye grabs the butcher knife blade.
Baddie.
And fights him until the blade broke off from the handle.
She broke the blade with her bare hands?
Yes.
Okay, she is the coolest person ever. First off, she's like, heck no, I'm not going in this bedroom with you. He's like clawing at her hands and she's like, no. And then she's like, really, you want to put that butcher knife in my flippin' face? I'll show you. Breaks the blade. Can you imagine being that guy? Like, oh my God, she just broke this blade off.
Sam, never in a million years. Well, I guess I can't say never in a million years because I've never been in this situation. But never can I imagine a knife in my face and me grabbing it.
No.
Grabbing it.
Enough to break it off. Like,
yes.
Okay, she's like the coolest person ever.
She runs for the living room and she starts screaming to her son to wake up and leave the house.
Oh, good.
The man runs out and catches her and tries to force her in the room again and starts to say, the man outside is going to kill your son if you don't cooperate.
I would be so conflicted.
He's still not very successful in getting her in the room. So he goes into the room and finds the blade to the knife.
So he just picks up the blade that broke off.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
He then went to check on her son, and her son was still asleep.
This boy is so smart.
Yeah. He finally gets Kaye into her son's bedroom, and he says, okay, you stay here. I'm going to go around and look around your house for something to take. So he's like looking around her house, and she gets up and like peeks through the doorway, and he is leaning out her back door talking to someone. So there is a second man out there.
There is a man. I thought he was a Looney Tune and that he was lying.
When he saw Kaye looking, he became enraged and threatened to kill her son if she didn't let him tie her up. So, worried about her son, she lets him tie her up, and he grabs her son's Nintendo and ties Kaye up with the cords.
Also something that's just like chilling. Like not, I hate that.
Okay, this is where it gets really bad. So trigger warning for sexual assault.
Oh.
He grabbed a knife and paper towels from her kitchen, and then he used the knife to cut off her nightshirt and her underwear. He wrapped her shirt like really tightly around her head so she couldn't make a noise, and she actually could barely breathe with how tight the shirt was. He began to touch her and move her in certain ways, all while masturbating.
This isn't awful.
When he finished, he smoked another one of her cigarettes.
I really was hoping it wouldn't get like to that part. That's just like an awful situation. That's just poor Kaye. Like no one deserves that ever at all.
He then gets back on the bed and pulls her head back and begins slitting her throat over and over. She could see the knife coming out of her throat at one point.
What?
Part of the knife broke off in her throat.
I can't even fathom the fact that right after he did that, he just starts slitting her throat. So much so, it's like breaking off into her neck and like she can feel it and see it. And after he was just talking to her and like pouring a drink, that's like, ugh.
He started stabbing her in the neck and back. She was losing a lot of blood and her body just like became limp because of all the blood she lost.
Yeah.
She laid there trying to pretend she was dead.
Also
Once
smart.
he was done, he put his finger into her blood and drew a smiley face on the small of her back with it.
Why is he so creepy, creepy, creepy?
So that's the part I saw at the nail salon. And I was like, I need to know what this case is.
I would forever hate a smiley face after that. Like,
what the fuck?
what even goes through someone's brain to do that? Like, to do any of this, obviously, but like,
But after you think you've killed someone,
yes.
you draw a smiley face on them with their own blood. That's next level fucked up.
Yes. Words from my head. Yes.
He then pushed her off the bed and covered her with a blanket. Kaye heard him leave out the back door.
The fact that this woman is still conscious is like unreal.
It gets even more unreal.
Oh my goodness.
So she attempts to stand up, but she can't because her throat is slit.
Yes.
And she's stabbed and bleeding so much she cannot control her body. But she knew she had to go check on her son to see if he was all right. So she braces her back against the bed and her feet against the wall. And after falling 3 times, she gets herself up, leans against the walls, and makes her way to the living room.
Baddie mama bear, dude. Mama instincts coming out so strong. Like, I gotta go check on my son. I'm doing anything possible.
The whole time, she can't lift her head up because her neck has been cut so badly. Her head is just dangling.
I have chills everywhere.
She went and reached for the phone and she fell. And then she hears Nathan run out. So she tells Nathan, the man is gone. The man is gone. Go get help. So Nathan runs to the neighbors for help.
Poor Nathan seeing like all of this happen.
Yes. The neighbors arrived and called 911, and the paramedics arrived and rushed her to the hospital. Her lungs had collapsed and she had to be put on life support with a breathing tube.
Oh.
She wakes up with the breathing tube in on life support, and her boyfriend and mother are in the room, and she motions for a pen and paper and tries to write down a description of the man that attacked her.
Dude, she's insanely incredible.
It's unreal.
She's like, I need to tell you who this guy is so he gets caught, which, like, first off, amazing, because if he did it to her, I'm sure he would do it again. Second off, like, that's what you're like, you wake up being like, nope, I need justice. Like, I deserve justice, but like also like get this man away from people. Like, what an incredible lady. Incredible.
Yep. So she's obviously in and out of consciousness, and she awakes later and wants to see her son. And the police had actually taken him into hiding until they were sure it was safe to return.
Which, good, I think.
Kaye was in the hospital for a while. In her book, she didn't say exactly how long, but it was obvious that a lot of time had passed. At first, her sisters helped to take care of her son, but she still couldn't see him. And they had police guarding her hospital room door.
Which is probably also so frustrating to her. Like, let me see my son. He just went something through something so traumatic. He needs to see his mom is okay. Let me see him.
Yeah, she did say that like once she was like able to like kind of get up and walk herself enough to go to the bathroom, she like saw herself in the mirror and was like, oh, thank God my son hasn't seen me.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
Looked rough. The police at first kept like asking her if she actually knew the attacker. They were like, are you sure it's not an ex? Are you sure it's not an ex? And they kept like trying to play this narrative that it was someone she knew. But she finally convinced them that she didn't know this man, and they went on a different route. So once she was finally able to leave the hospital, she decided to move in with her boyfriend, Andrew. And as she went on trying to get her life back on track, tips started to come into the police. One call came in from Kaye's neighbor just a few weeks after the attack. The neighbor reported a suspicious man sitting in a red pickup truck outside Kaye's house with a candle burning.
What?
The police got a description of the truck and tracked it down to a truck stop. The man who owned the truck matched Kaye's description of the attacker. In fact, the man had the composite sketch that was released to the public in his truck. He had like cut it out and taped it to his windshield.
Like he was proud.
The man was identified as Doug DeSilva. He was taken in for questioning. DeSilva claimed he was visiting his daughter in the trailer park and heard about what happened to Kaye, so stopped and lit a candle for her.
Please.
The next day, the police showed Kaye 6 pictures of different men, and she saw her attacker. It was DeSilva.
She would never forget that face.
The police started conducting interviews with DeSilva. He never denied committing the crime and said he was sorry for what happened to Kaye. However, not denying that you didn't commit the crime and saying, I'm sorry that happened to her, is not a confession.
True.
The most bizarre thing, though, that was in the middle of this interview, he asked for a job application.
For the police?
He wanted to be a state trooper.
Buddy, this is not the time or the place. Like, read the room, dude. You're being interrogated. What? This man is unreal.
So the police humored him. And on the application under his signature, he drew a smiley face.
No flippin' way.
The police had Kaye come in to pick him out of a lineup in person. And she had the choice to do it like on a video screen or actually like in person. And Kaye wanted to see her attacker face to face.
Baddie alert.
So she picks him out. And then they ask Nathan to come in to do an identification. Oh. But luckily, Nathan just has to look at the pictures. So they show him 6 pictures. And when Nathan looked at the 6 pictures, he told the police that he wasn't sure. They were all facing forward and he had only seen the man from the side. Yeah. So the police, being awesome, go back and get 6 profile pictures of the people.
Yeah.
And Nathan immediately picked out DeSilva. DeSilva's attorneys requested a mental health evaluation. However, DeSilva was found competent to stand trial. And at the first hearing, DeSilva pled not guilty.
1, he obviously has mental issues, obviously. But 2, not guilty?
As the police were looking into him, they found that the police in Maryland had also been looking for DeSilva. DeSilva was a person of interest in the murder of 17-year-old Julie Lynn Ferguson. Julie, too, was stabbed and had her throat cut. However, her body was found on the side of the road.
So he's done it before.
Friday, January 1997, just 3 days before Kaye's trial, the judge dismissed all 11 charges against DeSilva and released him from jail.
I'm sorry, what?
Why?
Yeah.
The DNA results came back and could not prove that DeSilva was in the home.
So you dismiss all of this, though, because there is still and I know it's circumstantial or like whatever, but like she picked him out of the lineup right away. Her son did with the profile right away. He had the picture. He had the candle. His car matched the thing. Like what?
10 years after her attack, Kaye got a call from Detective Robert Hudson. He told Kaye that there is a man serving a life sentence in Maryland who they believe to be her attacker. His name was Mark Eskridge. He was in prison for attacking a single mother in her mobile home in the same way Kaye was. However, after sexually assaulting this woman, when she begged him not to hurt her son, he apologized and left the home. The DNA they had pulled from that attack matched the DNA found in Kaye's home.
Shut the front door. So this DeSilva man was probably just like one of those people that like wanted to be the person. Oh my gosh. I can't. What? Did he look? I'm assuming he looks similar to this DeSilva guy.
When Kaye saw a picture of him, she thought, no way, he did not attack me. But when she saw a picture of him back in 1995, she was shocked. He could be DeSilva's twin.
I'm shook.
During the time of the attack, he had lived only a few mobile homes away from Kaye.
They were neighbors.
In January 2006, Eskridge pled guilty to Kaye's attack and was sentenced to life in prison plus 20 years.
And the police found this through DNA.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
I really thought it was that Dill Silva Joker.
I know, but it wasn't.
I can't. Because Kaye's probably like, I know it's this Dill Silva guy and he just got away and this system failed me and blah, blah, blah. And like all really mad. And then like 10 years later, they're like, oh, it's this person. And she's like, oh my gosh. And like, thank God he's been in prison the whole time. And like, obviously it was a very similar crime. So he probably was like trying to recreate it. Shocked though. Shocked. Straight up shocked.
Uh-huh. Yep. That is Brenda Kaye Robinson's insane survival story.
Also, thinking back on it, remember when Kaye called the police in the very beginning and was like, hey, there's this man outside my house, please send a car? They obviously never checked in.
They might have, and he just wasn't around back then. It was hours later that he came back.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What an awful story. And how insane that her and her son have to like live their life after like for years and years not getting the right person.
Uh-huh.
And being terrified, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you read her book, there's a lot more on like the aftermath and how her and her son had suffered during that time.
Oh.
I just kind of wanted to stick to the story for the podcast. But if you want to read her book, it's called When Death Comes Knocking by B.K. Robinson.
Yeah, I definitely want to read that. I feel like it's such an insane story.
It's insane.
And she's so incredible. And so is her son. Like, I can't even fathom this story.
A baddie raising a baddie.
Literally, yes.
Well, thank y'all so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Please give us a follow wherever you are listening to this podcast. And also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you want to leave us a nice review or comment or talk to us on any of those platforms, we are here.
You can also send us an email with a case suggestion or a story to bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com. Our intro music is made by the awesome cousin Vinny. Tell a friend, tell your family at your Christmas celebrations. Merry Christmas, and tune in next week.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy everything.
Woo-hoo.